Have you ever really wondered what's going on up there in your brain while you're asleep? We tend to think of it as just powering down for the night. But it turns out our sleep is this incredibly complex process, and it leaves behind these unique signatures on our brain's actual wiring. So let's pull back the curtain and see what those signatures look like.
We hear it all the time, right? Get your 8 hours. But is a good night's sleep really a one-size-fits-all kind of deal? I mean, does that one little piece of advice even begin to tell the whole story? Well, according to some really groundbreaking new research, the answer is a big, resounding nope. And that's the core idea we're digging into today. Sleep is so much more complex than just the number of hours you're out. It's about the quality, the disruptions, and how all of that is tangled up with your health, your life, and yeah, even the specific activity in your brain. So, let's get into why our old way of thinking about sleep was, well, a little too simple, and how a completely new approach is changing the entire game. For years, here's the wall researchers kept hitting. Most studies would look at just one thing, like, say, how long you sleep, and try to connect it to one outcome, maybe depression. But the problem is, when you try to stitch all those single-focused studies together to see the bigger picture, it just falls apart. You lose all the nuance. And you can really see the massive shift here. The old approach, on the left, was super linear. One thing causes another. But the researchers at Concordia and McGill University went a totally different route. They took a massive amount of data and looked at dozens of factors all at once: sleep habits, brain scans, mental health, lifestyle, the whole shebang, to find the hidden patterns connecting them all. So what did this powerful new method actually uncover? Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. By crunching all that data together, they didn't just find a few small links. They found whole new categories of sleepers. How many categories? 5. That's it. They found 5 distinct sleep profiles, and each one has its own unique story to tell about our health. And this wasn't a small study either. This came from looking at over 700 people and proved we are definitely not all sleeping the same way. And here they are. It's just wild how different they are. You've got poor sleep, which, as you might guess, is tightly linked to things like anxiety and depression. But then, and this is the one that blows my mind, you've got the resilient group. These are people who might be dealing with the same mental health challenges, but their sleep, totally fine. Then there are others defined by just sleeping for a short time or by general disturbances. There's even a profile for people who use sleep aids. It's a whole spectrum. And this quote from the researchers just nails it, doesn't it? It's such a powerful reminder that we've got to look way beyond the clock and see the whole messy, complex picture of how we rest. All right, so let's zoom in on that first profile, which was also the most common one they found, the poor sleep group, and see what's actually happening differently inside their brains. So we're talking about the people who, night after night, just experience poor sleep. But this isn't just a feeling, not by a long shot. It's connected to very real outcomes. There's a strong correlation with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and stress. But honestly, that's not even the most groundbreaking part. The real discovery is what they saw happening inside the brain. Okay, so here's the key finding. The neurological signature for this poor sleep group was a stronger than usual connection between the brain's attention networks and its sensory motor networks. Think of it like this. The part of your brain that pays attention and the part that processes physical feelings and movement are a little too chatty with each other. This could very well be the biological reason behind that awful, wired but tired feeling so many people with insomnia describe. And the lead researcher, Aurora Peralt, confirms it right here. What we feel about our sleep isn't just some vague complaint. It's physically reflected in how our brain is wired up and how it's behaving. So finding 5 different profiles and their brain signatures is fascinating stuff for sure. But what does it actually mean for us in the real world? Well, it's basically giving us a whole new map for understanding and actually treating sleep problems. And this is the absolute key to it all. Every single one of those 5 sleep profiles had its own distinct fingerprint in the brain. It's not just one problem called bad sleep, it's 5 different problems, each with its own neurological story. And that, right there, opens the door for treatment that is truly personalized. Imagine going to a doctor who can identify your specific sleep profile, understand its unique brain signature, and then create a treatment plan just for you. We're talking about moving way beyond the generic, try not to look at your phone before bed advice. And in the end, as the researchers say, it's all about looking at the whole person, Not just one symptom, not just the hours slept, but the entire unique sleep profile to really get what's going on.
So, as we wrap things up here, what's the big picture message? What does all this incredible science mean for you and me?
It's this simple and it's this powerful. Your personal experience of sleep, whether it's great, awful, short, or restless, isn't just a feeling. It has a real, measurable signature written into the wiring of your brain. Your mind and your brain are telling the exact same story.
Which leaves us with one last, pretty important question to think about. It's not just about how many hours you get, it's about the story your sleep is telling. So, what is your brain trying to tell you?